What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be continuing to show you how to make Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 in Minecraft. This is part 33, and in this one, we're going to be getting this little hallway done along with this stairwell room, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not a ton, but this room also takes forever. But yeah, that's all. So with that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. Alrighty, so from the last part, or whatever, you should end up having this, which is hopefully cool and correct and awesome. You want to start by getting out the following materials for this next area. The cyan terracotta, tough slabs, which we're also going to use for blocks, because we don't need many blocks. Tough brick walls, polished basalt, stone. Hold on, I'm having a problem. There we go. And you want the following, well, this is kind of a weird set. We're gonna go red terracotta and yellow terracotta. And could we even get anything else? Is there anything else that would be helpful? Maybe mangrove slabs and perhaps red nether brick walls. We're just going to go with that and we'll kind of see from there. So you want to head to the little room we made at the end here where you have this little 2 black doorway. All is fun with that. If you are looking towards the opening, you want to take the polished basalt on the right and extend specifically this bottom one, not in line with the floor but one up. You'll extend it back with 2 stone, tough brick wall, upward facing polished basalt, which will be annoying to place, but that's fine. 2 tough brick walls, 2 stone. You essentially want to copy that row one more time, but you want 2 tough brick walls on either side of the polished basalt, which just means you have 1 less stone here on the front. And then you'll copy that row one more time, but you want 1 tough brick wall behind instead of 2, which will give you this shape essentially. Place stone on top of everything but the polished basalt, which is brought up with another polished basalt. I would advise placing cyan terracotta under the bottom tough brick walls, and obviously you do want to cover these from the back for lighting. I'm going to bring the polished basalt here down by 1 and then across by 3, which is left like so, and then I'll bring it up by, I think, 4 at the end here with upward facing basalt, like so. Well, polished still, but you get the point. The ceiling is a block above this, and it's also cyan terracotta, aka it's in line with these deep set brick stairs here at the top. So, I'm not going to fill it in yet, actually. What I want to do is I want to take this row of polished basalt and connect it to the row kind of in front of it with just 3 rows of stone. I also want to take this polished basalt and extend it backwards with, funnily enough, also 3 rows of stone. Just like so. From there, I'm going to go back diagonally left with a stone, which will be in that direction. I don't really know how to describe it other than it's basically towards nothing. It's like towards that, but also in the opposite direction. Wow, that's brilliant. You want to take that row of stone, then extend it left a row. Then left with a row of upward polished basalt. 2 rows of stone. And 4 diagonally left with a row of stone. Forward by 2 rows, and then you're going to go forward with an upward facing row of polished basalt. This one is different though. You're going to actually take the top polished basalt and extend it left by 3, and then bring this end one also down by 3. And you do want this top left one here to be an upward facing polished basalt. This is a doorway. I know, crazy, who would have thought? The floor you're not worrying about. The floor does not have polished basalt. As for the, outer wall, you'll take the furthest, back right stone here from this wall that we placed. You want to extend back diagonally left by 3 with stone. Then left with 2 rows, and then an upward facing row of polished basalt. That should be in line with this row in front of it. You'll then go left with 3 rows of stone. Forward diagonally left by 3. And then you should just be able to connect forward with 3 rows of stone to the polished basalt there. And you have a macaroni noodle. Nice. It's pretty much what it is. The polished basalt the like center row here you do want to connect together at the floor. Again, the one that is the doorway that I mentioned, you're not connecting, but you can actually place cyan terracotta block below there because this will help us for the next step. Because there's a little bit of non-cyan here, and I do want to get it out of the way. So, I already clickbaited you. The left half of the doorway is a yellow terracotta like so, and again, this is from the side over here. So essentially, we're kind of looking at it like, essentially this is like a cane almost. It looks like a candy cane, and we're kind of like looking at the end of it like so. From that yellow terracotta, you're going to go back with a cyan terracotta, yellow, cyan, whoopsies, yellow. And then the cyan to the right of the original yellow, you'll bring back with 2 cyan and then 3 red. The rest of both the floor and ceiling are cyan terracotta, just a block above and a block below the walls. There's a bit we do have to change, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just going to fill it in. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am, for the most part. More of this. Who would have thought, right? Hoping to record 3 today, but I don't know if I can do it. I haven't done 3 in a while. Been stopping myself at 2, but I kind of want to just get Whack-A-Wuggy done, to be honest. Anyway, you should end up with this. Nice. That was a odd Minecraft ambiance. You want to take the upside down mangrove slabs here from the previous room, and you're going to extend them, like, back an additional, I want to say it's 6. Yes, it is 6 back. You'll then go left 1, then back by 2, left 1, back 2, and you should connect into a wall like so. In the corner, essentially behind or where the mangrove slabs first went to the left, behind this one here, you'll place 2 red nether brick walls going back. The back one you'll connect down to the ground. Another candy cane. They're everywhere, apparently. For the tough slabs, there's a couple we can place, and then we're gonna hopefully finish the hallway after that. So if you head back to the staircase, and, like, essentially 2 Whack-A-Wuggy almost, and if you just, like, start heading down, underneath this sea lantern on the floor, you're just placing a tough slab right there. If you want, I did, it's, like, really unnoticeable. Under these cobble deep say walls, this cyan terracotta I do have as a tough block. Yeah, it's fine, whatever. No one will notice. Turn to the right, and if you're looking at this hallway, you want to take the first tough brick wall in line with the floor, and left of it you'll place a tough slab. Have a block in the floor left of it, and also from that slab you'll go towards you with another slab, and then a block in the floor in front of that. Nice. I think, yeah, no, we will texture this. Well, I'm going to do the flooring of the next room first, and then I'll go over all the texturing here. You can clear your inventory and get out pale oak trapdoors, pale oak fence, sea lanterns, iron trapdoors, cyan terracotta, and then you want, I'm debating, blackstone walls. And then you want red, yellow, and green concretes. Those are the 3 rainbow colors I picked, because I didn't have enough room for all of them. Anyway, still where we are right now, you want to start by... Off of the final row of tough brick walls here, you're placing pale oak fence left of either of them, and then extending it up by 1. You can't connect to the ceiling, but it is fine. In front of that block, that top one, you're going to place a pale oak trapdoor on the top half of this block. Extend it left by 1, and then bring that trapdoor all the way back to the back wall. Direction doesn't really matter if the handle's facing, although I would kind of have something like I have. I have it inverted on the original, but I'm not really sure why. It might be something to do with the directions, but who knows. Continuing to head along, you want to find where you have the polished basalt on each side in the floor. The ceiling in line with it, you'll break the cyan terracotta, replace it with sea lanterns with iron trapdoors off the underside. I don't know why I didn't use item frames there, but... oh well. Continuing to head along, if you're looking towards the opening here, the left half will be blackstone walls of the doorway, and you'll extend it back a row. We're getting awfully close to that. That's interesting. I didn't notice that. I mean, I have it extended now, and I didn't hit it, so, I mean, I'm not a concern. That is just something I figured I'd point out. Behind this yellow terracotta here, you want a place going out. 2 red concrete. Then go back diagonally, right 1. Back 1. Back diagonally, right by 2. place yellow concrete to the right of each of those red concretes, and then a green to the right of each of those reds, and it should look like this. And then the staircase will start there. This room is gonna suck. I am saying that right now, like with 100% certainty. You're gonna hate this room. I hated it, and I'd still hate it. So, right of each green concrete, except for the last one, you're placing a cyan terracotta. And excluding the first one, because the first one doesn't exist, actually. You'll break the green as well. So you should have this right now. From the final green, you're going to go back with 2 cyan terracotta. Back diagonally left 1. Back 1. Back diagonally left 1. Left 1. Back diagonally left 1. Left by 3. 4 diagonally left 1. Left 1. 4 diagonally left 1. Forward 1. 4 diagonally left 1. Forward 3. 4 diagonally right 1. Forward 1. 4 diagonally right 1. Right 1, and then it should be 4 diagonally right 1 and right 1, and you should connect. Not a huge room. It feels larger than that, but that is the size of it. You're filling in the floor with cyan terracotta here. We're gonna focus on the couple of details on the floor in a second here. And then I think we'll do the texturing. We'll do the texturing after we do the other texturing, basically. If you blocked off these walls here on the left side, I apologize. You need to break the block you used. Unless it's stone. It needs to be stone there because of the wall is there. So, yeah. Yeah, you can clear your inventory either way. I need to use 2 hands for this. Okay, there we go. I was trying to put my cup back, but, you know. You want to get out tough slabs and cobblestone slabs. Is that all I want? Yeah, we can get out everything, I guess. Beehives. Polished blackstone stairs. And spruce trapdoors. So, starting from the very, back row of cyan terracotta, you'll take the left 2 most blocks and place 2 beehives on top of each, facing outwards like so. You want to see the notches this time. These are cabinets or something. There's something weird with handles like that, I remember. From this beehive, you're going to count right by 2 and forward by 2 and place a polished blackstone stair facing forward here. Right of it, you'll have a stair facing left. If you were looking at that one and, facing the way you would have had to place it, you're going to essentially count to the right and then turn to the right as well. Stair. Count to the right, turn to the right, stair. In front of the front 2 stairs, you'll just place a spruce trapdoor from each. In front of the bottom left beehive, when I say a slab or a block, you want to either be using tough or cobblestone, but it doesn't matter which one. You want to mix it up each time. But you want to place a slab in front of that beehive. In front of that, you're going to place 2 blocks. So you see I'm going to switch here in the middle. And from the back one of those 2 blocks, you'll place another block left and right of it. Extend either of those blocks back by 1. And then from the right one here, you'll go back diagonally right by 1. You will be breaking cyan terracotta for most of that. On the far left side, you want to take not this left row of 4 cyan terracotta, but you're going to keep tracing forward until you're on this cyan terracotta right here, where you'll place a block. Extend a slab both behind it and to the right of it. From those slabs, you'll go out continuously in the same direction with a block. Extend the blocks towards each other by 1, and then you'll kind of connect together on the inside like so. In front of this front slab here, you'll place another block in the floor like so. And that's all that. Clear your inventory, and for the texturing, we have 2 things to worry about. The stone in the hallway here, and then all of the cyan terracotta, which is really just the floor and ceiling in here. I'm not worried about this ceiling. I don't believe I textured it. But let me just double check before I say that officially. Yeah, there's no texturing in the previous room. That wasn't already done. So it's just kind of worried about this area here, and I guess this floor would be included just for consistency. But for the floor, you're texturing with the following: deep slate bricks, cracked deep slate bricks, polished deep slate, and gray concrete powder. I know, I'm sorry, it sucks. And for the walls, this is going to be the new standard for, I think, almost the rest of the stone in this entire build. It is stone bricks, cracked stone bricks, cobblestone, and andesite. And so, I would do them in the order that I got them out. Maybe you could do gray concrete powder first, because it's kind of the closest to cyan terracotta. But you're just kind of texturing it however you want, just keeping the dots and stuff. I'll explain it better on the stone than I will here, but essentially, you're just kind of going through each of the blocks, keeping them separate, but also not at the same time. Like, you can have them in clumps if you want. I think it'll be more so mentioned and talked about in detail with the, oh, I'm stuck. Like some of the later rooms with larger floors, because that kind of makes more of a deal than this area does, because this area isn't particularly large. I would keep, like, around the tuff and cobblestone here, just kind of make sure you have more texturing. I'm never going to do the concrete powder, just because, no. And then same thing for the stone. I like to do it where I place the stone bricks. I think I talked about this in, it would have been something in musical memory. And then off the stone bricks, I'll do cracked stone bricks, kind of diagonal, touching in some way at least. And then I'll do cobblestone off of that, and then the andesite will kind of just fill in whatever open gaps I have left. Sometimes it'll be part of it still, but, you know, just something like this. I'm not going to texture it all because I'm not concerned about it. But, yeah, just kind of almost making clusters and cracks and stuff with the blocks. And then again, the andesite is the true texture block, if you will. But yeah. The next room, which is the staircase, doesn't actually have texturing, but it is stone, so if you do want to do it as well, then there's the system. I just didn't for, I don't know, I didn't really have a good reason. Clear your inventory if you didn't already and get out the following. Stone. Cyan terracotta again. Sea lanterns. Glow item frames. And then you want the following slabs. You want prismarine brick, mangrove, and bamboo. And you also want bamboo trapdoors. And is there anything else? I don't know if there's anything else would be particularly helpful. Let me see if there's anything at the very top that we could potentially get. Not really. I mean, we can go polish basalt. Can't guarantee we'll use it, though. So, around the outer edge of the cyan terracotta, you're just going to place stone kind of encircling it. Just like so. Yeah, hopefully we'll finish this room. I would like to get to cart corridors fairly soon. Not necessarily this part, but like within the next 2 parts or so. Each stone from this point, you're extending up by 35. Now, you have the polished basalt tutorial. I'll talk about that in a second here. And yeah, you're bringing it all up to this height. This is very high. And so, with the polished basalt doorway, you're just bringing it up to the same height with stone, but it's not going to be 35. It'll be like 31, I think. But yeah. And you're just going to have a giant tube, pretty much. Hopefully, obviously that's a large number. You should, in theory, be able to confirm that the number is correct once we do the spiral staircase. But yeah, funnily enough with this, to make this loop work, I actually just, like, didn't really bother until, like, the final room. With both this and musical memory, I kind of just built the thing, and then if I had any problems, then I would have to kind of update or tweak things as I needed. But I, like, never had to tweak anything, with the exception of the last, like, room and maybe the spot you launch Barry down. I think I had to mess with those a bit, but I really didn't end up having that much of an issue with, especially this one. I think musical memory I did more with. Like this, I legitimately think it just lined up pretty much. I don't remember exactly, but I remember musical memory I had to screw with the hallways a bit to make it work. And even then, it still wasn't perfect. I think I was like a block or 2 off from what I actually wanted, but I made it work, so I really can't complain. And then obviously statues, we don't talk about that one. But Yeah. I still do want to at some point see if I can get statues to actually line up, because I started structure blocking some of the rooms, like, to the, I guess, end, and I just gave up after a while, because I was like, it's not worth it, but I think it'd be interesting to kind of play with and just see if I could potentially get it to line up somehow. Because like, just kind of roughing it out in my head, it didn't seem like it would have been that far off. Or, like, doing the kind of rough math in my head, it seemed like I was going to be maybe a little bit too far in. But, you know, that is something I could change with a vent at this point in time. Especially if I'm restructure blocking everything back in. But the only thing that would suck is that I would have to change the Y coordinate of one of the vents, and that isn't really a big deal, except for that I would end up needing to mathematically figure that out as I'm structure blocking, because it's the, like, second vent. I think there's two vents, actually, that have drops, and I know one of them I had to make a bigger drop because I had a, like, room that wasn't fitting, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, you should end up with this. We're gonna do the staircase first. It kind of sucks, but it should, hopefully, we should be able to get into a rhythm with it. So behind each of these concretes here on the floor, you're placing a row of prismarine brick slabs. Behind it, a row of upside down mangrove slabs, and essentially you're just gonna keep going up diagonally back as we do this. From the left to, you're placing bamboo, and then there'll be another bamboo forward diagonally left from there. You'll place a prismarine brick behind each bamboo. And then, essentially, mangrove behind each prismarine brick until you kind of hit the wall, like so. And then, left of that, you're placing bamboo slabs, a full row of 3 coming off the wall. Then mangrove. Then you're essentially leaving a block space, and you're having a prismarine brick on the next one, making sure you still follow the half incline. So essentially, if I'm here, the next one would be here, which it should be. I guess it would have been prismarine brick, but the next one is actually prismarine brick. It's weird. And then you're doing mangrove left of each and one forward diagonally, right? And essentially you're just keeping that the pattern continuing for most of this. Then you're doing the bamboo, prismarine brick in the corner, mangrove sticking off the sidewall, and then you're leaving 3 gaps. So essentially, I'll count up half, 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 and the prismarine brick should be off of this stone block. It should be regular slabs, like so. And then from there, I go back diagonally, right? And then I'm leaving another bit of space. So this one, because it's weirder to count, if you take this stone and just count up by 2, and then essentially just kind of circle around until you're on the second stone on this row of 4, you'll go out with 3 prismarine brick slabs here. You'll then have a gap of 1, and then bamboo. Then prismarine brick with the diagonal one here. Then mangrove following the same shape. And then it stops there. And again, because this is so annoying, I'm going to take this diagonal of stone that is in line with the mangrove, and I'm going to count up from it by 6. And I'll trace this one around, and I want to be on the 3rd stone on the, like, back side, and I'll go out with 3 upside down mangrove slabs here. And so you can kind of see where I am positioned. Like, that's the doorway on the opposite side. And then from that one, you're leaving a gap of 2 and doing mangrove again here. Which this one is the 2 coming out and then forward diagonally, right? And then you're having a little corner of bamboo to the side of that. Then prismarine bricks off the side. And then it's mangrove, bamboo, prismarine brick, mangrove with the funny diagonal, bamboo doing the same, prismarine brick in the corner, and you essentially keep going up here until you should be 1 or half a block above these stones. So you want to just keep going with the same pattern of these 3. So where was I again? I already forgot. I would have been there. So it'll be mangrove next, and then bamboo, and then prismarine brick. And I'm actually going to switch the order of these so they're correct, although I guess it doesn't really make that much of a difference, but whatever. So yeah, you're just kind of keeping the... I just did that wrong. You're just kind of keeping the same shape going. It's not particularly hard, and I think you should end on a mangrove, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and funnily enough, when I did this originally, I wasn't entirely concerned about getting it correct, but I believe the original also ends on a red step, which is kind of cool. So yeah, you learn a little bit, I guess. And yeah, you see here... Oh yeah, no, I'm right. Never mind, that is correct. Thought I messed up, but no, we're good. So you see the mangrove is a row of 3 slabs there. It's on the left side from the doorway, and it's on, like, the first stone. It's kind of a weird shape, but for the stairs, but it works. The bamboo trapdoors are the really annoying ones. So, you just want to do the best you can. Like, I can't really explain it better than that. I'll kind of show you, but essentially, you're going off the side of each row of regular slabs that you can. So, like, you see that's upside down, so I'm not going to go there. I can't go there either. And essentially, from those, you're going... It's hard to explain, but you're going down a row. And so, essentially, I'm going to take this one here as the example, this first one. I'll just, like, go down with the bamboo, or go over with the bamboo trapdoor, which is going towards the down end of this. And I want to make sure that I would go down diagonally here for that one, and you see I have one above the upside down slab there. Basically, you're next to every single regular slab and up a block from each upside down slab, but you're still sticking on the outside. Sometimes it'll be a trapdoor off of another trapdoor, sometimes like on the corners here, you just have this kind of going on. And you'll have some gaps and stuff where you would be able to just fall off, obviously, but there's only so much you can do with trapdoors for railings in this game. So, yeah, just kind of do the best you can. And just go off these slabs for now. Anything extra I will talk about in a moment. But, yeah, this is kind of a weird one, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have a better way to explain it than that, and I'm sorry, but it's definitely a strange set. And, yeah, okay, that's going to be up a block. Man, I'm struggling. I gotta go from the bottom as well. And yeah. It should all line up. You shouldn't have anything where anything is being a problem to anything else. I just said anything like 5 times, but got the point across, so that's all that matters, right? And that should be all of them. Yeah, cool. Now, you should end up with this. There's a couple spots where we do have to connect the railing, though, because, yeah, and I'll explain that one in a little bit more detail. So at the bottom here, the first couple bits here do connect, and so from this row of 2, you're going to go up diagonally left with a bamboo trapdoor there. From the singular trapdoor, you're going to go up diagonally left with a bamboo trapdoor, and then left by 1. From this lone guy on the prismarine brick slabs, you're going to go up diagonally left by 1. And then you want a trapdoor on top of that that's open the opposite way. It should be opened in line kind of with the trapdoor off this prismarine brick slab here. And from that one, if you look at it, you'll go up diagonally left again with a trapdoor. In line with it. There is one more trapdoor we have to worry about. Voice crack. The singular mangrove here, you're having a bamboo trapdoor to the left of it that should again connect to the one there. And I think that's all of them. There is one more thing to do before we can do the top, though. There's some lights that we have to place. Actually, there's 2 things. Get rid of your bamboo trapdoors and get out mangrove fences. I forgot about these. On the left side, on top of this block, which is either tuff or cobblestone, you're placing 4 mangrove fence. On the left side here, you're going to take the second stone in and place 2 mangrove fence extending up. From the top mangrove fence on the row of 4, you're going to kind of, if you're looking at it, go to the left or towards the doorway. And on the inner block of this row of 2, you're breaking it, placing a sea lantern with a glow item frame off the outside. Head to the beginning of the staircase, and you're counting to the 4th stone up, which is this one, breaking it, replacing it with a sea lantern glow item frame off of it. From this point, that kind of gets weird. You're heading to the opposite side of that one, and you're between the mangrove and the prismarine brick. If you take the stone that the mangrove is off of, you're from this angle counting actually up diagonally left by 2, and you're placing your sea lantern in the wall there. You want to keep tracing along until you find the mangrove here, which is before, like, a gap, you want to actually be on the prismarine brick before it, and from the stone, I guess above it, you're counting up by 2, breaking this sea lantern glow item frame. Only off the front. You could place it off the left, or off the side. I have been doing that a lot, but I didn't here. One more, I think? Yeah, one more. It's above the lone mangrove slab row here. You're counting, if you're on the stone above it, you're counting up by 3, breaking this one again, sea lantern glow item frame. And that's all the lights. Nice. You could add one, like, higher up if you wanted, but I didn't. So, from the mangrove slabs here at the very end, you're placing your... I guess we're going to go with 4 rows of cyan terracotta in front. I couldn't make up my mind, but we got there. Extend this end row to the right an additional 1 like so. And then from that furthest right block, you'll go forward diagonally, right 1, right 3, back diagonally, right by 2, and then right by 2. Extend this end cyan terracotta forward by 4. And from there, you're pretty much just going to connect it across to the left and then back and fill in the little noodle shape you just made. Like so. Bring up the stone that we didn't really interfere with, except for this row 4 at the front. You are going to, I think, leave this open because of the basalt being in the way. But the like stone on the kind of back half here, including the actually left and right rows of 4, you're extending them up an additional 6 rows. So it should go 5 above the stone. You know, I'm noticing there's 2 pale oak fence gates here that aren't actually opened, and I feel like they should be opened. I don't know about all that. I definitely would have opened them, though. No? Because the rest of the row is opened. It's just those 2. That's so suspicious. I'm so suspicious of those 2 fence gates. I don't know. Surely it would have been a mistake. I'll point it out because I'm pretty sure it is, but you do never know also. You should end up with this. You're taking the stone on either side and extending it forward an additional 4 rows, which would actually end you to the end of the cyan terracotta. You only have to extend above it, by the way. You don't need to go further. That'd be kind of pointless. But yeah. What is there like anything logical here that we can do? It's a good question. At the right side here, you're taking this stone and extending it forward an additional row, and then left with 2 rows. You're then going left with an upward facing row of polished basalt, leaving a gap of 2 and placing another upward row. Fan designs are something else. You can clear your inventory and get out the following. Polished deepslate, polished andesite stairs, black concrete, cyan terracotta, monster spawners, polished deep slate stairs, sea lanterns, andesite walls, and pale oak fences. I think that makes the most sense. So, between these 2 polished basalt rows, you're connecting the very center row together with polished deep slate blocks. Above and below it, you're having 2 rows of monster spawners. And I would place cyan terracotta on the top and bottom of them, even though the ceiling is stone, but I don't ask questions. Actually, I have polished basalt above it, but I don't feel like getting it back out, so I'm not going to. I also have cyan terracotta kind of trimming the inside of this, which essentially means going off the polished basalt, polished deep slate, and cyan terracotta, and just kind of creating the little bit of an 8, like so. Fan design is horrendous here, but I'm going to just go with it anyway. In the bottom left corner of both, you're placing an upside down polished andesite stair facing left. Bottom right, you're having an upside down stair facing right. Top right, you're having a stair facing left, and top left, you're having a stair facing right. It looks like a coyote or something, but whatever. I would fill in the back with black concrete. Moving on from that very quickly. To the left of the middle polished basalt here, going over, I guess, you're placing 2 sea lanterns. Off the inside of them, you're placing a set of upside-down polished deep-slate stairs that face into each other. Above and below both these stairs and sea lanterns, you're placing 2 cyan terracotta on each side of each block, which gives you this. Ow. I don't know why I said ow, that didn't hurt. It was weird, but it didn't hurt. From this point, let's direct our attention back so we're like looking towards the room again, and we're using the... Again, the little candy cane down there is the front. So, going along the left side, you're counting to the... What are we going to go with? The 3rd cyan terracotta back and place 3 andesite walls moving up. Go back 1, up 1. We are 1 short of the ceiling height. That's fine. Just ignore that for now. Behind it, you're placing a full row of pale oak fences, or in front of it. No, yeah, I guess behind it. You're placing a full row of pale oak fences that also connects to the ceiling. In the front right-hand corner, this cyan terracotta, you're counting back by 1, placing a full row of pale oak fences. Behind that, you want a full row of andesite walls. Again, from the front right-hand corner, you're counting left by 1 and placing 3 andesite walls moving up. Place 1 moving backward, and then 2 up from there. This room doesn't have a proper center, so... You want to essentially, the pale oak fence on the left that we placed, you're counting back by 2 from it, and you want to place 2 placeholders coming off the wall, and then 3 pale oak fences moving in from there. You'll just break the placeholders after you don't need them. You're placing 2 more placeholders, and then 3 pale oak fences after that, and then again break the placeholders. You should have this. That's for the little grapple thing that pulls you up. It's connected to, I want to say it's a pipe, but I could be wrong. I don't remember particularly. You can clear your inventory. I always sound skeptical when I say that. And get out pale oak fence gates, mangrove trapdoors, dark oak fence gates, bamboo fence gates, dark oak trapdoors, stone, polished deep slate walls. I don't think we'll have enough still. Unfortunate. Light blue concrete, and we're going to go with a hay bale. So, connecting the pale oak fences together here that are just floating right now, you're placing 1 bamboo fence gate and 1 dark oak fence gate. Doesn't really matter which side is which, but, you know. On the back wall here, above the bamboo slabs that are, like, the furthest, I guess, back row on this row of 4, or on the, I guess, section of the wall that is 4, you want to counter the second stone above them, place a dark oak trapdoor open up against the wall. On the left, wall, you're leaving a gap of 1 moving forward from this pale oak fence row and placing a row of pale oak fence gates up against the wall. I have the top 3 open and the bottom 2 not. I feel like that's just a mistake, but you do never know. So I am going to leave it. Out of the top 3 pale oak fence gates, I'm taking the middle one and I'm placing a mangrove trapdoor open up against it, which is just 1 off the top. 1 off the bottom of this pale oak fence row, I'm doing the same thing. Just to the right of this cyan terracotta little pillar that sticks in, you're placing a polished deep slate wall on the ground. Extend it back by 1, and then right of it you want a hay bale that's kind of facing front to back like so. So you want to see the full yellow part rather than the kind of striped part almost. Right of that, you're placing a light blue concrete with another one on top. You can then get rid of your light blue concrete and hay bales and get out birch plank and mangrove button. And you're placing a birch plank on the hay bale with a mangrove button off the back of it. I don't remember who this is. It might be Huggy. It might be Huggy. It's blue, so I automatically assume Huggy. I know that's kind of a bold assumption, but whatever. You want to take the pale oak fence row here on the left now and extend this top fence forward with 2 stone. Go forward diagonally right by 2 and then right by 1. I would kind of square off this portion with stone, filling it in like so. The remainder of the room, the ceiling is getting filled in with stone a block above the height of the walls. Just that little area is lower because that does actually line up with the walls if you trace it down and notice that. But yeah, the ceiling of this room and like the tops of the walls are textured, which is kind of like the droopy texture that I do a lot, but instead of instead of it being out of darker blocks, it's just out of the normal textured blocks. It's kind of weird, but that is what I did. So I guess it was so I didn't have to texture this entire freaking thing. But I mean, I textured the game station, I textured statues, I textured the pit room, so I don't know why this would have been that bad. Although I did have help on all 3 of them, but still, you know, they were textured. Either way, you should have this. And that's like this room done, as far as I'm aware, other than texturing. So again, I'm not going to go over it too much, but it's the same blocks, except gray concrete powder is out of the equation because, well, half of this platform is floating. But you're just texturing this little bit of cyan terracotta with a light bit of deep slate bricks, cracked deep slate bricks, and polished deep slate. And then again, the ceiling and like the top 2 to 3 layers of the walls are textured with stone bricks, cracked stone bricks, cobblestone, and andesite. Hopefully you should have seen it in the intro as well. Although, actually, once we've done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is part 33 of Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 complete. We're at that point. I kind of, like, lost track of time there. Thank you guys if you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully in the next part we'll be able to get to the cart corridors. That would be really awesome, and maybe get some of it laid out. I don't plan on getting a ton laid out. But anyway, with that being said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. It took my emoji. That's really cool. Hold on. Let me get that back real quick. Peace.